Hello everyone, I've got with me today Brooke, who's the COO and co-founder of Digital of Things, and Amy, who's the product manager at Creative 971. We're going to be discussing today the integration of Instagram and Facebook shopping. And we know how e-commerce is definitely booming and there's a demand, and more the demand is increasing for e-commerce platforms. So why is it actually important to have this integration in place?
It's always good to expand your marketplace, of course, and it's always good to expand your customers and your consumers' circuit. So basically, when you're selling your product in more than one channel, then you're increasing your profit as well. People will know more about your brand, because it's a bit, you need to think of it as if you're exposing your brand name in several channels. Let's say, speaking of the offline terms, it's as if you're opening different branches. So it's very important to have multiple sales channels, especially when you're only e-commerce based and online based business, just to make sure that you're getting more traffic.
I would say that it's about taking your marketing to where your customers are. So you may not want to be selling oil or machinery, farm equipment on Instagram. So if you're thinking about e-commerce, and I'll speak from personal experience, I've got an e-commerce store myself, and I would say that my audience is very heavily geared towards social media usage. So for my business, it's important to be setting up Instagram shopping, Facebook shopping, as well as using other performance marketing like Google Ads, as well as promoting it through offline channels as well. So it depends on where your audience is as to whether or not it's the right channel for you, and then setting it up is a completely different kettle of fish, which we'll talk about. But it's you need to understand first of all where your customers are and take those marketing efforts to them on platforms that they're already using.
All right, and would you say there's any sequence that's important, or does the integration by itself, you have certain steps that we need to follow in place? What do you do?
I think Emmy's probably got a bit more experience in this because she does it on a regular basis. I mean, again, from my personal experience, I've got one e-commerce store which I set up, and I think the process that I found was challenging in some ways because this market is different to to other markets, more established or mature markets. If you look at Shopify, for example, it's an amazing platform. I use Shopify for my website, but it's very different from the US or the UK to what's permitted in the Middle East. There are certain restrictions on that. So even setting up Instagram shopping and Facebook shopping, I found a bit challenging. It wasn't an entirely seamless process. I would say that it's definitely rewarding and it's definitely worth it once it's set up, but you do need to know and understand the steps to actually go through that process. And there is a lot of steps in place, from having a bank account, a registered business, amongst just other things. But Emmy can probably shed a bit more light.
Sure. Adding on what Brooke just mentioned, you need to have those important documents to first set up your e-commerce business, of course. But let's take into consideration, let's say if you already have an e-commerce business and you want to set up your Instagram shop. Previously, couple months ago, Shopify did not have that seamless integration with Instagram shop and Facebook shop. It was successful, but Instagram shop was not yet activated in the Middle East. However, recently, this has been updated, and Shopify, they've updated their platform, and even the policies in the UAE and the GCC region has changed as well. So now it's very seamless for the customer to have your Instagram shop activated, even the Facebook shop. Just one point that everyone should think of when they want to have an Instagram shop. The first essential, or let's say the first requirement, is that you need to have a Facebook account, Facebook business account. Once you have your Facebook business account, you need to integrate Facebook into Shopify. Now, I'm just speaking of Shopify because that's the platform that I usually work with. Platform and Shopify, so you're having the online sales channel when you log into the platform. When you click on the plus sign, you can add another sales channel to it. So first you need to add your Facebook shop as a sales channel. Once you add it, you need to set it up as an e-commerce category. So your Facebook page should be set as e-commerce category. If it's not set as e-commerce category, it won't be successful. So that's the first point. You will add the Facebook shop through Shopify. Once that is settled, you can then integrate Instagram shop. Facebook is the intermediate channel between Instagram and Shopify. So in order to have Instagram, you need to have Facebook shop. And the steps are very straightforward. You just need to configure the points. Let's say Shopify will ask you what data should Facebook fetch from Shopify. So it's just tick boxes that you need to tick, and you configure your Facebook shop. And after that, you can configure your Instagram. From the same Facebook channel, you can actually add and create Facebook campaign and Instagram campaign, which is really helpful for your business.
Can I say, add to that, and maybe Emmy, you can give me some personal advice on this. One thing that I find interesting is that you can, and what I find very beneficial is that you can tag products directly on your Instagram post and your Facebook post, which gives you, I guess, really easy access to that product. You then go to the website to complete the purchase. You don't complete the purchase through Instagram or Facebook, which I thought was interesting because I thought originally that you could do that. What I do find interesting is that you can't promote posts that have a product tagged within them. Can you tell me why that is?
Maybe they did not yet activate that here in the GCC region or around the world, but from the post itself, you need to think of it that they're only posting pictures and videos. So it's not clickable. If it's clickable, it will tag or let's say redirect the user to the actual post on Instagram and not redirecting it from the story to the website. So maybe that linkage has not been yet activated or updated. This could be the reason why you cannot tag the products in the story, but on the post, yes, you can do that.
Yeah.
And one thing that we find, like people in some areas or some countries, they're able to directly shop from Instagram, let's say from the post on Instagram without needing to go to another website, to the actual website. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, in the UAE this feature is still not available.
It's not, yeah.
We need to go to, once you click on the product, you need to land on the actual website and do the transaction there. So generally, let's just say if it's not specific to this region and we get to a place where we're able to actually purchase on Instagram, will we be notified, let's say if I'm a Shopify user in your case, will you be notified that this
purchase?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, if this is activated here in the UAE, this means that Instagram, you're having a payment gateway integrated to Instagram for the purchase to be finalized. Now, if you're having the online shop fetched and integrated in your Shopify platform, then yes, because everything will be integrated, the inventory will be settled from there as well, because it's not only about getting notified when the customer purchases, but as well the inventory, you need to track your inventory and the quantity of your items. So it will be all linked together as your Facebook shop is already integrated into your Shopify account. But if you did not integrate your Facebook shop to your Shopify account, then there is no linkage and hence the data won't be synchronized to your Shopify store and hence you won't get notified.
Yeah. What I would say, and it's just a continuation, is again it comes back to the point that this region is different. It's you can't take a cookie cutter approach to Shopify or Instagram shopping or Facebook ads and apply it to the US, to Australia, to the UK, to the Middle East or GCC, which is why it's so important if people are starting an e-commerce business and they're not aware of the guidelines or how to move this forward, they can always speak with experts in that industry who've got that experience and that local lens here, because it can be quite different, and the features that you have seen work globally don't necessarily work in this region. So that's where it's important to remember that for anyone who is starting an online business or has one and wants to expand their marketing horizons and move into to social media marketing.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. Thank you so much. This has been really interesting, as always, having you. Please feel free to leave us any comments, topics, any kind of follow-up questions if you have for our guests today. Feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.